I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
You know, I'm very tired of seeing people like Bill Maher who have a platform and any of our other commentators, mainstream or even independent like myself, pretending that there's just so many differences between the left and the right. There are not. I hate to break your bubble. We're Americans. Left, right, we're Americans. And there's people that are conservative that agree with a lot of liberal ideology. There's liberals that believe in a lot of conservative ideology. There's not much. We were all kind of raised in the same country. We were all pretty much raised with the same values. The only thing, the only one thing that it boils down to is children. That's it. There's people that want to have access sexually to kids, and there's people that'll never allow it. Obviously, if you're on the right, you're on the side of people that will never allow it. But when you see the LGBTQP and the P, you know what maps are, minor attracted persons. That's a protected class under the rainbow umbrella. That was already decriminalized in California. Was it Senator Anthony Weiner passed legislation, and if you were an adult and you were caught having sex with a child, but the child claimed to be gay as well, you were no longer going to be put on a sex offenders list. So it's not that they made it legal; they just decriminalized it because now the waters are murky. And in the future, if gender is a man-made construct, then what is time? And as time is a man-made construct, then what is age? If a 50-year-old feels like a 12-year-old and they say an 8-year-old feels like a 25-year-old, how do you prosecute if you're in a liberal city that has to adhere to and affirm liberal ideologies as such? As a conservative, I don't care if you wake up and you dress like I don't know, a Girl Scout, but you're a 40-year-old man. If you want to go stick your dick in a fucking toaster, for all I care, I don't care. Live your life. Do what makes you happy. You're an adult. The lines are drawn, and where the war, there is a war coming because no one wants to be honest about what the fight is over. So there's going to be a war, and you're going to pretend that this is a war over something. No, no. It only boils down to access to kids. There is nothing else. That's the only thing we can't. That's the only thing that we can't get along with. That's the only lines in the sand that we can say can never be okay. No one in their right mind is going to listen to a liberal talk about how they want to have access to sex with children because we should affirm their identity and we should actually let a child decide what they can do, just like they want to do the mutilation and the gender affirmation surgery on children, on young children. We can't accept that. This is a step next to that. It's not even a step further. It's a step next to. They want kids to be able to decide who they can have sex with when they're 8 years old, 7 years old. Let's be honest, and we cannot allow that. We can never allow that. So when you're talking about the left and the right, that's the only difference really between the two. I know conservatives that are like, maybe college should be free. Maybe healthcare should be subsidized. It's not that those aren't the topics that are off the table. It's the whole sex with kids thing. That's it. There is nothing else. Even gun laws, even all the race nonsense and all, none of that stuff has anything to do with what this war is going to be fought over. This war is really fought over kids. And if you're confused about that and you're fighting on the side that wants kids, imagine that ended up being the hill that you die on. Mayer is going to be talking about why he doesn't understand why the liberals don't want to have conversations, but the conservatives do. It's because the conservatives, we're proud of our beliefs. We can explain them to you. We can give you our logic. We can give you historical context. We can tell you how it benefits society. If you're on the left and you have a counter argument, But you're going to try to explain to me why children should have their sexual identity affirmed and why they should be able to choose what they want to do at a younger age. Do you see how crazy you're going to sound to Americans? That's why they said America is not tolerant. Tolerant of what? Tolerant of our desire for children. That's why they never tell you what it is. When they said Trump came back into office and we lost our rights, well, what rights did you lose? You can still vote, you can still travel, you can still, you have access to bank accounts, water fountains are still integrated. What is it that you don't have access to anymore because Trump became president that you felt people were turning a blind eye to when Biden was president? And it's the kids. When Trump shut down the border, he shut down the child sex trade. Now it's harder than ever, and you're going to be prosecuted. So you got to think about it. If you're on the left and you're into children, if you know the Trump administration and the way our current law enforcement is going to be under this administration, you're going to end up in prison. We all know what they do to pedos in prison. So when you see these leftists showing up to these events and screaming about how much they hate Charlie Kirk and they're saying that they're trying to kill us, the reason they're saying that is because they know that in prison, they know when they go to prison for touching kids and other prisoners find out, they will die in jail. They know this. That's what Bill Maher doesn't understand.
The fight I am been having with the left, while I'm, of course, the irony, as a lot of people in my position, is still a liberal, just a traditional liberal, won't go along with their, like a lot of the stuff that's just crazy out there too far, which gets Trump elected, blah, blah, blah. As I always say to my woke friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Took me a second. Sorry, I had to absorb that.
Okay. They're the people who don't want to talk. It's my main issue with them.
Now let's go ahead and be honest. The man that he's speaking to is likely a pedo as well. He's gay. He doesn't have a wife. He has no children, but he knows everything about you and your children. Because since they can't produce children into their own group, they have to recruit yours. That's the only reason why they tolerate conservative parents, is because we're the only ones that create children that they need. He's not going to sit here and say, well, no, liberals don't mind talking. We can talk about our beliefs. Any liberal, when you bring up the topic, what do you think about minor attracted persons? They're going to walk away. They don't want to have that conversation because that's the secret. That's the secret. No one wants you to know about. Is that they want access to children uninterrupted. Now, for black people, they just want to be able to kill each other uninterrupted. And then they'll support the LGBTQP because they feel that stopping them from killing each other and enforcing laws is white supremacy. It doesn't make any logical sense, but they want the freedom to delete each other every day without anyone stopping them. Problem is, when you do that in an American city, it affects real estate values, it's safety for others, and also it spills off into other communities, which now they're being harmed by your issues. But as far as when it comes to the LGBTQ community, they just wanted access to children in exchange for their votes and their support. So when they're fighting so hard for Kamala Harris, but she doesn't have any policies, and Joe Biden, who's brain dead, the only thing that they can say that they were actually getting out of those arrangements was a push harder for the LGBTQP acceptance. But the only part of the LGBTQP that's not accepted is the P. That's the part that is criminalized. That's the part that they are pushing to have decriminalized. Charlie Kirk single-handedly pushed back that entire agenda 30 years. Once he started speaking to people in groups in public, they are starting to understand what we're really fighting against. And then when the leftists never came out and said, yeah, that's not true, they were nowhere to be found, because that is true. They do want access to kids. Gays for groomers don't want access to kids, but the Black Army, the P, and the LGBTQP, that's what they want.
And Charlie Kirk was a guy who, like, he was always talking. And I talked to him here. You know, the right wingers say what you want about them, but they talk to you. They're not into this leftist think. The left really has much more of a, I don't talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. You're deplorable. I can't break bread with you.
Yeah.
Well, that attitude, and like all the right wingers, they don't have that attitude. No, again, I didn't vote for them. And Charlie Kirk and I certainly don't agree on much politically, but he sat here. He's a human being. He's not a monster.
And a husband and a father.
Yes. And I liked him. I liked them all. They're all nice people when you meet them in person, and they're not as crazy as they would. Nobody's as crazy as they make them out to be.
Yeah, the guy Bill Maher is interviewing,
Just
he can't say anything because we're about 5 seconds away from that being admitted that this is just about kids. If the conservatives, if we said, you know what, we're willing to compromise, and what we'll do is we'll decriminalize. If the kids are gay and the person is gay, we'll decriminalize it, and we won't prosecute anymore. Then literally, the war is over. There won't be a left versus right. There won't be all the hatred and vitriol. All these trans kids will not be upset. Remember, these are mentally ill people that are accepted by kids. Look at this example.
I'm actually doing WGSS as my major, so it's like.
What does that mean? What's the?
Now, this woman is also doing God's work. She does these school appearances like Charlie Kirk, and she wants to talk to these people that are mentally ill, but she also wants to expose them to the people that are not mentally ill, so they can understand that what they are doing and what the bottom line of what they want. It's evil. Molestation is evil. Pedophilia is evil. Look at this person. This is a black man wearing a pink shirt. This is not a woman. This is a man. What age range do you think this man is attracted to? 5 to 15, 15 to 25, 25 to 35, 45 to 55. If your selection was the first selection, A, then you would be correct. This person right here is a Black Army operative. Now, the Black Army is defined as an extremist collective primarily composed of Black and gay activists who frame themselves as militant cultural force. The group recruits from other marginalized communities, including racial, gender, sexual identity minorities, with the goal of building a coalition against straight white men, particularly conservative Republicans. That is the working active definition of a Black Army member. This person is Black Army.
Women's gender and sexuality studies. So, like, this is.
What kind of job are you gonna get with that degree?
Literally, like, but for real, like, I literally that's like, I mean, I don't honestly know. I mean, I just know that I want to support women's rights in this world. I just know women's rights, queer rights, all of because I mean, specify.
What are queer rights? What rights? Queers are American last time I checked, if they're in the United States. What rights do queers have that straight people have that queer people don't? What do you mean? What rights are you fighting for? My confused and embarrassing friend. There's no way his family can be proud of him. I'm not saying everyone's family is going to be proud of him, but this, there will never be grandkids. This is the end of your lineage right here. That's it. You had so much promise for him when he was born. You thought he was going to be a big, strong man that will protect and provide and have a family, produce grandchildren, and keep your gene pool going. Until they took him in for his wellness checks. And he's never been the same since. Yeah. They want kids. This isn't about There's no more. This isn't about gun rights. The left is there's nothing that they want that they don't already have, except for access to children.
Find women's rights because.
So are you oppose like a?
He said, "Oh yeah, women rights because," but he stopped. They can't tell you the truth. They can't tell you the rest. They have to stop here.
If you knew a baby in the womb was going to be trans, would you think it's okay to abort that baby if the mom's like, I don't want a trans kid?
Yes. I mean, it's her body at the end of the day, you know.
And this is a trans person that's actually in favor of deleting a trans child. Why would you take advice from somebody who is mentally ill to the point where they want to harm themselves? They don't want more of themselves. They know that they're evil. They know that they're wrong. But they are who they are. And they're either going to self-delete or they're going to write it out. I don't know if you guys know this, but statistically, men like this with this disorder, they don't make it to 34. The cutoff age. 34. They usually self-delete by the age of 34. The question is, do they want to go alone? Or are they going to take you with them? And that's $1 million question. Will you let them take you with them?
Say we come up with some genetic sequence that we can say this is dispositions a person to be trans. You don't think it's discriminatory and wrong to be like, I don't want to have a trans kid, so I'm going to kill it?
I don't think it's discriminatory and wrong for the simple fact that, I mean, this
is a man. That's a man. That's a grown adult man right there. That's a Black Army man.
The child hasn't been born yet. Like, we can ask
You think my vaginal
question.
canal is magical? My 6 inches of my vagina somehow makes a clump of cells into a baby? That passing through my vaginal canal at labor, bam, it's a baby.
I mean, yes, it's like life.
I mean, my husband might agree with you, but I don't think most people would agree with you that have a magical vagina.
Some vaginas are magical, some are not. This is Black Army. Columnist is fired by the Washington Post over white men post after Charlie Kirk murder. Let me read to you the definition of a Black Army operative again. Black Army is a loosely defined extremist collective, primarily composed of Black and gay activists who frame themselves as a militant cultural force. The group recruits from other marginalized communities, including racial, gender, and sexual identity minorities, with the goal of building a coalition against straight white men, particularly conservative Republicans. And what is she fired for? Her post over white men after the Charlie Kirk murder. I make these videos not because I necessarily have a huge audience today. It's just that years from now, there will be people that will come back and watch my videos. These videos serve as a time capsule where you can always reference back that I brought up and talked about these things initially, these topics. Like the other day when I first found out about Charlie on live, and I was on live and we found out he had passed, I said likely what they're going to do is say that the person who did this was doing it to protect somebody who they are in a relationship with who is either gay or trans. And that gay or trans person is going to tell this autistic man, who they know they can manipulate easily, because an autistic person is an adult, they can't separate reality from fiction. They're going to tell them that, oh, Charlie Kirk's coming to town to kill me. They're going to hurt me. I'm scared of Charlie Kirk. And this is going to trigger this handicapped man to do something that's outrageous. For example, Raja Jackson. He's only about 3 years older than Tyler Robinson. And when you look at Raja, the day that he attacked Stu at the WWE, Raja cannot separate reality from fiction. He doesn't understand the nuance between jokes and when we're actually acting and we're playing. That's why his father has to be with him all the time as a caretaker. The mother didn't want to deal with it. That's why he's there. And as a grown man, When his father tells jokes, he doesn't understand a joke. He doesn't get it. That's why he never smiles. That's why he doesn't drive. Tyler Robinson is the same type. He's on the spectrum as well. When you're on the spectrum, they'll give you scholarships and they'll do things for you because you're special needs. A trans person who is not special needs will understand how easily manipulated you can be. Very simply, because you don't understand reality from fiction. When they're talking about this murder, when they're talking about what happened to Charlie was pushing back over the gay agenda to legalize pedophilia. Trump was also against pedophilia, which is why they hate him. It's not over race. It's not over religion. It's not over gun laws. It's not over. They don't hate Trump over stuff that he says or how he talks. It's just about the kids. If Trump said tomorrow that he accepts the sexual identity of the P and LGBTQ and P, and they will have protection status and they won't be criminally charged when they're caught having sex with kids, the entire left would literally unite with the conservative movement overnight, and there will be harmony. But at what cost? That we sacrifice our children to the pedophile mob? Is that that's because right now that's the cost of peace. Are you willing to pay that price? Personally, I'm not. Nobody I know is. I don't even know anybody that would even negotiate. If that's the one thing you put on the table, we would rather die. We'd rather fight to the death. Ask Ben Shapiro. If you would have asked Charlie Kirk, ask Brandon Tatum, ask Candace Owen, ask Rico Bobby, ask Club Rico, ask Right Wing Rico, ask anyone in my space, ask Tim Pool. If for peace in this country, all he would have to do is allow the child molester to have access to his child, and there will be peace in this country, we would all rather die in it. The Black Army is literally the group that's coming after us. Tyler Robinson was Black Army. The guy in Butler, Pennsylvania, the trans kid, the gay kid, the black people, the people that hate Charlie, the ones that are celebrating his murder, they're all Black Army. This is a Black Army lieutenant.
I haven't spoken about the Charlie Kirk murder until now because we didn't know anything. And since my channel was created not to report the news but to make sense of it, I felt like the only responsible thing to do was to wait until there was more information. It now appears that the person who shot and killed right-wing political commentator Charlie Kirk was like the majority of shooters in America, a young white male from a conservative pro-gun religious background. After being told for 2 straight days that the left had declared war on America, that the shooter was most likely trans, or in Congresswoman Nancy Mace's words, pro-tranny, after the Wall Street Journal published an article they had to later walk back that the bullets had a pro-trans message because it turned out to be just the markings of one of the world's biggest ammunition factories, they were wrong. We still don't know the motivation for the killing, but we will find out more in the coming days. But here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to put it in context, because I think the biggest takeaways we have right now are the following. We have a gun problem in America. People who are unhappy have easy access to high-powered firearms to take their unhappiness out on others. The 2 children who were shot in school the same day Kirk died were shot by a 16-year-old who had been radicalized online by white supremacist groups and had easy access to a handgun. After years of being told by our own law enforcement, including the FBI, that the majority of domestic terrorism is perpetrated by white extremist groups who are the greatest threat to our national security, we have done absolutely nothing but allow the...
She's lying. That was what the FBI said when it was under a different administration, a corrupt administration. They were lying. Remember, the Black Army, again, has a goal of building a coalition against straight white men, particularly conservative Republicans. What is this Black Army lieutenant doing? She's literally attempting, you gotta think about it, the brute force and the frontline soldiers it's the Black community. She's basically trying to recruit from the Black community to fight physically and put their lives on the line to defend trans ideology and also to defend the rights of having access sexually to children. That's what they need the black community to help them with. And that's why they constantly throw the black community into their nonsense, even though Democrats hate black people. Now, don't get me wrong. What is there to like? The murder, the music about murder, the movies about murder, the crime, the lack of safety, the fact that they celebrate killing you and they celebrate killing each other. If that's what you want to like, then like it all you want. Personally, I don't. I don't even see what there is to like about it. And I've been around it and engulfed in and out of it my entire life. And I've decided I don't want to live around it and I don't want anything to do with it. It just, the odds are, whether I sit on here and make these speeches and I talk to people every day, there's a 90-something% chance that if I'm ever killed, it will be by a person who looks like me, regardless if I have anything to say positive or not. Remember, his own people killed Malcolm X. They kill everybody. They don't discriminate when it comes to that. I could accidentally step on one of their Jordans and get killed. So that's not necessarily the deal breaker. So yeah, I'd rather just at least somebody can be mad at me about what I'm saying here, rather than something nonsensical like I'm wearing the wrong color in the wrong side of town at the wrong day, and the person who sees me doesn't even own anything in that area. But I digress. So this is her trying to recruit. The rest is so much lies and vitriol that I just wanted to show you this is what a black army lieutenant looks like. A liberal white woman, a liberal white man. Lots of gay people in general control the minds of black people. And they use black people to go out there and fight their political enemies physically for them. Now, for when it comes to specialties like sniping somebody or doing something that overtly aggressive or dangerous, they will use their autistic, trans, and gay young men to take out those orders, like the man in Butler, Pennsylvania, who we know nothing about, and this Tyler Robinson kid. The thing about Butler is that if we knew more about him, then we could profile him, and then we can look at his profile and find the other ticking time bombs that are in the Republic. But they won't release that information about him because they don't want us to profile him, because they want more attacks like the ones against Charlie to occur. It doesn't take you to be a rocket scientist to make that discernment. Sorry, this camera's a little blurry. I need to get another camera. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but the point is, it's you don't really need to see me to listen to the message. Again, the progressive ideology doesn't want equal rights. They already have equal rights. They want unfeathered, uninterrupted access to children. That's the point of this. MAPs are minor attracted persons, and the way that they push their agendas by saying they want more rights for minor attracted people. What rights do people that are attracted to kids don't have? There's only one, and that is the right to have sex with kids without being arrested. In California, that was already being reversed due to people like Trump and Charlie Kirk. That agenda has been destroyed and reset 30 years at its best. It could be longer than that. Again, if there is going to be a civil war, it will be about fighting between people that are straight, fighting against people that are pedophiles. That's how it's going to go. And actually, there's even going to be gay people fighting against people that are pedophiles. So it's really just going to be people. So it's not even about sexuality. It's going to be people who are against pedophilia versus people who are pro-pedophilia. That's all the war is going to come down to. And when you're looking in the military, you're looking at the men in law enforcement. There's a lot of men that are pedophiles who know that if they get caught, they're going to prison. They're going to do what they can to stay alive. Self-preservation. They will fight to the death. So don't think we're going to just walk all over all these people. Don't think the black army is just all going to look like, this guy.
Easy. I'm actually doing WGSS as my major, so
a lot of them are going to look like the guy right.
You know what's crazy?
They're going to look like George Floyd. They're going to be 6'8", black and mean. They're going to be huge. You got to be careful. They are coming. The good thing is this: we're starting to identify these people. And we're easy to know who they are. This is a judge who is gay. This is a judge who is black army. This is also a judge who just who allowed for prisoners in Georgia to receive taxpayer-funded sex change surgery. She's black army.
You create.
There's a gay Asian kid right here calling Charlie a fascist. He's Asian and cannot, and I thought Asians would be at the top. He cannot even give you the definition of this word he's calling a man.
Company that's like close to being a fascist, and then like,
okay, how am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
Dude, like
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
you believe that like you are.
Embarrassing. Xi Jinping should send some of those Chinese police they have in the United States to smack the shit out this kid and kick some ass, because this should be an embarrassment to the Republic of China. You're gonna get up on stage and call a man a fascist. You don't know and you don't even know the definitions of that. You don't even know what fascism means. Like, it's crazy. One of the most fascistic things you can do is stop someone's speech. And these people that are calling him fascist want to stop him from speaking. But they're like, it's hilarious, but it just shows you that they just throw words around. They have no idea what the definitions are. But we do. And we feel sorry for them. So we don't necessarily attack them. But they're not as weak and defenseless as we thought they were. Charlie Kirk and the Butler, Pennsylvania shooter have shown us that. The sympathy is not necessary. These people are dangerous. We are, again, dealing with an enemy that lives within our borders. It's an enemy within. It's an enemy that speaks the language and they know the terrain. They are the most dangerous and the worst people to fight in any conflict because they are us. They just want kids. This is another example of a Black Army person.
I'm also a part of marginalized groups that have been historically oppressed, and it's like, keep on raising awareness and like slaying. Like, I hope that like we reach more equity soon.
We actually have a equity commitment form. You can actually give up your spot at university for a member of the Tongva tribe.
Why is this person going to a university? They're not going to work anywhere. Who's going to hire someone who is mentally ill to the point where they can't even have a basic conversation? In our schools used to, up until college, used to prepare us to work in factories. There's bells that ring. You sit in a desk. You're giving certain tasks. You go to lunch and eat at a certain time. You come back. You were being groomed and prepared to enter the workforce. These kids are going to universities. There's no workforce at all on earth that these colleges are preparing them to enter. And that's what makes them become Democrats and socialists and communists, because they think, I have no other prospects. I need to be taken care of by the government. So I'm willing to give up my freedom in favor of free stuff. They don't have families, they have no prospects, and they can't get a job, and they have tons of debt. They're not working. So that's where a lot of this communist and socialist talk is coming from. These women who are also radicalized, they're not going to be able to become wives. They won't be mothers. So when they turn 50, 60, and 70, there's no family to take care of you. You're going to have to depend on the government until you die. So UBI, socialism, communism is going to be more and more appealing. That's where this country is going, which is unfortunate. Unless people who espouse those views, unless there was something that removed them from the population. And I think that is the reparations that everyone received back in 2021.
Is this something that you'd be willing to do for this underrepresented, underprivileged community?
Honestly, no, but I hope somebody else does. That's great.
Sad that that's somebody's son. This is also a Black Army person who is literally a MAP as well, minor attracted person.
You're part of the problem, I think, with the hatred on trans people. It's really not that deep. Like, if someone wants to dress up however they want, that's totally fine.
It's not about dressing up. It's about the fact that you're trying to fuck kids.
Okay, so
And I think
I'm
that's
not
where the
preventing
hatred
I'm not
comes from.
preventing you from.
This is one of the videos that would lead to Charlie Kirk's eventual demise. This video that I'm making and my other videos would literally lead to people that would hate me as well. They would hate me. They would see me as being an obstacle or a speed bump that they're heading to their goals, and they think that I'm going to be in the way, which I am. I would never, ever not fight against pedophilia, because for some reason I'm one of the people that can see through all the nonsense and say, okay, well, what's the bottom line? The only thing they want that they don't have is access to kids.
Yeah.
However, let me ask you a question. I will flush this out.
Ahead.
So let's pretend you say you are a woman.
Yeah,
And I know you are a man, but I refuse to call you a woman.
Okay.
Who's the hateful one?
I would say you are. I mean, I wouldn't.
So
I
you're
wouldn't
going to
appreciate
force
it.
me and shame me?
No,
hold on a
do
second.
anything, man.
I'm the hateful one.
It's really just like common courtesy.
It is never common courtesy to lie. You do not become a thing just because you say it. You are the thing. And guess what? Nobody in the history of the species that was born XX or born XY and transitioned is able to change their chromosomes. Every one of your cells is coded either XX.
Charlie's absolutely right. 100% of gender transition surgeries have failed. 100% of gender transition or gender affirmation surgeries that have ever been made in human history, 100% failure rate. No one has ever been able to successfully change their gender. Charlie is factually correct.
Or XY.
But
and it is an insult to women everywhere in this audience and across the country that's saying that you could just have wear makeup and dress like a woman, undergo surgery, that you magically become a woman. And it is the abolition of women, and it's the abolition of reality. And we see great unjust human suffering because of it.
This man is dressed up as a schoolgirl, but he's wearing a t-shirt underneath and he's wearing a backpack. He's trying to appeal to children. He's not trying to attract a woman his age or another man his age or an older man. He's trying to attract children. Children is a part of his idea. Children is a part of who he is. His rights being taken away is when Trump became president and laws started being enforced again. And now it was back on the menu that you can no longer be a pedophile and it would not be accepted as a sexual orientation with LGBTQ protections under the umbrella. That is the one thing that they lost. And this is what they hated about Charlie. The gays and the trans, for the most part, they like children. Now, there are groups like Gays Against Groomers who are against that. But even they will tell you that they are outnumbered and the majority of their counterparts are pro the P in the LGBTQP, which is for pedophilia. They will tell you that. No one wants to talk about it because people want to keep the peace. But what peace? They shot Charlie Kirk, who was a moderate, who wanted to speak to them. I will go to these events and talk, not because I want to hear them out, but because I wish they would. I want to. I'm here for all the smoke. See, I believe in defending my country, but I also believe in not just America first, but Americans first. Even the children, they're Americans too. Even the smallest and weakest amongst us, they are the ones who need protection, and these monsters are targeting them. This is a Black Army person who's actually been calling for harm to come to Charlie Kirk's wife and his kids. Again, a coalition of Black and gay, they're both, extremists recruiting from marginalized groups organized around opposing straight white men and targeting conservative Republicans as their primary enemy. That is the Black Army. His calls on TikTok to have Erica assassinated have not been removed. But I've been removed. Tim Pool's been removed. Brandon Tatum's been removed. Anybody with conservative beliefs that just talk about what men should be with women and we believe in families and we don't believe in pedophilia, all of that is where you get kicked off of TikTok for that. Apparently that's extreme. Just being a normal person is extreme. They want you to think that these people are the normal ones because they want to depopulate you. They want less of you. Well, in reality, they want less of him. Culturally, they accept me. As far as how I look, I look like the enemy. So I can understand why. I don't have to agree with it, but I understand it. The family member of Lance Twiggs, who was the transgender boyfriend of Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson, says family cut ties with Twiggs due to his hostility towards anyone supporting conservative or Christian values. And confirmed Robinson lives with him, so he was gay. So there's a guy fucking another guy who also was a furry. Again, the Black Army, literally they target conservative, straight, white men or anyone with conservative values. Now, in this situation, I keep trying to remind people that the Black Army, it's a different, you can be black and you can be white. These two men are no longer white. They're gay. Gay is its own color. You can be black, white, Latino. Once you're gay, you're not white or Mexican or black. You're not any of those things. You're gay. You have to understand it. It's a completely separate group, separate hierarchy, separate agenda, not your radical agenda. So when you see someone who's white, like the lady we just played, and she's literally speaking vitriol, hatred against white people, you're like, well, what are we talking about? Lady, you're white too. No, she's not. She's gay. She's not white anymore. She's gay. But she's white passing, so she can manipulate white people into doing something that's bad for their group, but good for the gays. The blacks are fighting with this every day. It's happening. Bald black women are sending black men to their death. Kamala Harris is not even a black woman, but she walked them like sheep into the slaughter and told them, if you don't do this in 2021, where you're just a hallmark of white supremacy like Donald Trump. 92% of black people voted for her. And you know what else she told them they had to go do if they supported her? I know what you did that summer. I know what you did in 2021 when the mandates came out. She walked them into it. Again, Kamala Harris is gay. Barack Obama is gay. They're black passing. They don't like black people. And every chance they get, they try to do something to help get rid of the black problem. I think Kamala is probably the most successful. When you tell me 92%, I'm thinking 100% of that 92 did it. They rolled up their sleeves. Kamala led them there. I don't know whether to forsake her or to thank her. I think that in 15 years after the results, she will be remembered, her and Joe Biden, for saving the republic. Today, it's the fog of war, and it's going to be around us until we see the results, which will be in 2020, when the 13% become roughly the 4%. 13% is already at about 10% rate. 3% are gone. I don't know if you guys have been keeping score since 2021, 2022 summer, but I have. Millions are gone. They said during the last election, 10 million Democrats disappeared. They were just gone. But they didn't turn conservative. They didn't become Republicans and vote for Trump. They just disappeared from the voter rolls. And people were like, that's weird. Maybe it was fraud. But no, it's just that's how many people passed. Just since now, how many since November last year? I know I'm at 15 in LA. They're telling me all these people are dying from overdoses, but I don't buy it because I know better. As a stenographer and your local record keeper, it's up to me to keep you up to date on everything that's happening. Everything that's really happening. One of the last things we're going to talk about another video, but it's troubling. But I don't know if it's inconsequential or not. But if you look at it, Charlie Kirk, it appears something And I noticed this when I first saw the video. His shirt jumps up, and something
Right there.
The problem is they're saying the sniper shot him from above. So then why did his shirt jump up like this? Why did the shirt jump up and something hit him in the neck? And it's like, it didn't go in. It seemed like it's bounced off. But whatever it did, it didn't pierce a hole in his shirt. It hit his shirt and then it hit him and then it kept going. This is a very sensitive and very thin part right here in your neck. So it boom, hits the shirt, it pops up. So it didn't come down, but it hit. So they're saying it ricocheted off of his chest. Well, then that means that it came from in front. It didn't come from the side. So then that would mean that this man and his gay lover are just maybe patsies to throw people off a scent for long enough. Because on mainstream media, no one is talking about this. I literally had just shared it. I just shared it. I'll share it again so you guys can see. This is on Right Wing Rico. I'm doing this live while I'm on video with you guys. Right Wing Rico. Let's see here. If you watch the videos, you can see that. And if you slow it down, matter of fact, where's this other video?
Keep your eye on this space here where the red circle is as the next clip plays. To me, I first seen this and thought straight away, holy shit, that is the bullet.
Why is his shirt popping up right here?
It matches the exit wound. It also matches the shirt puffing up and the angle of the entry and exit. I needed another angle just to see if this was actually fact, trying to get as much info as I could before I posted anything. And in that video, you can.
So apparently it seems like there was another shooter. I think we all figured that out. If David J. Harris is reporting this and sharing this, we should all pay attention. There's some truth to it.
See the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot. So again, I needed another angle. I found this video, and this one's a little bit harder to see, but you can see something go down into the back right-hand side of Charlie. So
something hit his shirt. Whatever hit his shirt hit him. So you see him speaking. This is hitting his shirt. It's pulling his shirt up, and then it hits him in the neck. But the sniper, a bullet from where he was at wouldn't have done that. This is not the movies where it curves around and boom, you can just, magically make a bullet turn. That's not how it works. That's not how it works in the real world. That's not how it works at all. I'm glad that we could sit up here and have this talk. Hopefully Bill Maher understands why they won't talk to him. The left can't talk to you because then what they're going to admit is something that is illegal. And they can't expose their hand too far. Oh, and one last thing, this idiot journalist says that she was fired over quoting Charlie Kirk. My voice will not be silenced. But actually it will. And you literally proved Charlie right. Black women do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot. I'm pretty sure that's taken out of context, but if you were smarter than a fifth grader, you wouldn't have made a post besmirching a man who was a father that just passed away just because you never met your father. Your envy and jealousy, these are the same white people that you're going to be begging for a job for the rest of your life. because you guys don't really build anything. You guys just take. So you're not going to be able to employ yourself. You're going to have to beg someone white to give you a chance, and you blew it. Hopefully your hatred takes you somewhere special. But if you were smart, it would take you to the airport. You would fly to Ghana while you still can. If you want to fight a war, good for you. I wrote this. The CK, Charlie Kirk tragedy, while heartbreaking, has revealed an unexpected upside. We can now pinpoint Black Army operatives who have infiltrated institutions, companies, and even government agencies. These are the very individuals would have carried out sabotage from within in the future. She would have sabotaged the Washington Post in the future. The Secret Service agent that was just fired, he would have tried to take Trump out in a year or so. All these Black Army people that expose themselves within these companies are only in these companies not because they're trying to build a life and take care of their families. Remember, they have no families. They're in these companies to figure out ways to sabotage them. Now, because of what happened with Charlie Kirk, they're exposed. We were able to actually get rid of them before they can do any more harm. We can stop them before they start. This was our pre-crime. Who knows how many lives were saved by firing people inside these companies before they can do any more damage. So it wasn't all a tragedy. There are some good things, some great things. And we're going to finish off with this. Actually, I want to do one more thing, but it says here he's a far right. Wait a minute. His girlfriend has a dick. That's already proof that he was not a conservative or right-winger. He wasn't at all. So, Right-Wing Rico, the single boyfriend. Follow us on all the social media platforms. Right-Wing Rico is on Instagram. And the Safe and Effective Podcast. You would know what that page is about based on the name. I'll be back shortly. We have another episode I'm going to do. I just wanted to clear this up and bring up the Bill Maher situation. So thank you. Like and subscribe. Share the video. Hit the like button. I appreciate all the support. And see you guys shortly.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.